how do you create value? How are you creating values for the various stakeholders, that exist across Imagine Canada? And what was really cool about that was we really started to see, despite having, a great many of different teams, we have, 3 or 4 social enterprises, we have a policy team, a research team, all these kinds of things. There was a lot of overlap in how people were actually, what they were actually doing day to day, whether it was, building relationships or, sending communications, these kinds of things. The next question was around like what tools were you using, and that included both digital tools like our core enterprise systems like Salesforce, but also things like spreadsheets. Pen and paper counts as tools. Your brain counts as a tool. We really wanted to surface all these ways that people were getting their job done, and through that process, we uncovered about 90 plus what we call shadow systems. So these were tools outside of our core infrastructure like Salesforce and Mailchimp and what have you that people were using to get their job done. And it was just astounding, to sort of see that number in front of us. And the last question is, which is always the most important and interesting one, was how's that working out for you? And it was really interesting. And through that process, there were some great ideas already sort of surfacing around, how people saw things, how things could, get better. But we also started to hear some really surprising sort of sentiments around fear and discomfort. The fear of having to move off of systems that they didn't want to move off of, fear of having to change how they got their work done, and yeah, that was really powerful for us. But I think the most powerful part of the entire experience was, creating that first space or opportunity to share sort of our hopes and dreams, but also realize that like there's a lot of complexity here, and what are we going to do about it? And what we heard in those conversations was, okay, we see it and we want it. Like, how can we help? How can we be part of cleaning this up and, setting us up for a much more streamlined sort of path forward, if that makes sense. It was really cool. It was a great experience.
Yeah, those are some incredible numbers, like we had 90 plus shadow systems, and yeah, and after doing that internal audit, and so you have all this data and that you've collected, and you have this. So we've heard that the perspective from Haley on the Imagine side. Let's throw it over to Ryan. Where did it go from there?
Yeah, I mean, the audit is such a simple starting point, but I think it probably could apply to most people on the call. It's sort of holding up an honest mirror to the organization. It's unbiased, it's unoffensive. It's just here's the accounting of what the current state looks like today, and that really helps set the foundation for conversations around change, and underlined the pain points, the cost to the organization, through just being honest about where things sat currently. So I think that audit it's simple, and it's an easy starting point to really start to build consensus for future momentum.